Hello and welcome to another quick look. This time we're taking a look at the Homeworld Deserts of Kharak, which is the prequel to the original Homeworld series. And it's developed by the Blackbird Interactive and published by Gearbox Software. And as I said, it's the prequel to two of the best RTS games ever made, pretty much. The Homeworld 1 and 2, and, well, the Cataclysm as well. And instead of being in the space, we're now in the deserts of Kharak, Kharak being the planet where you start off in the Homeworld 1. And this is that pretty much tells the story how all that came to being. And it is pretty superb RTS game. I really loved the whole campaign. I played through it myself fully now, and I loved it from start to finish. All the units were great, the story was great. But the only complaint I really have was that it was a bit short. I was hoping it to be a bit longer. I blasted through the campaign in 6 hours or so, and I was hoping it was a bit longer. And I felt some of the stuff in the story and in the game mechanics as well were a bit rushed, and they could have spent a bit more time showing more of the lore and about the factions and everything else, and how stuff is done, pretty much. And also it felt on some missions that they really rushed like new units out and new upgrades and everything. Like there was a mission somewhere in there that pretty much like gave you, here's 3 new units and like 20 upgrades. So they could have paced those a bit more sparingly between missions and add a couple of not so important missions in there. Also, story felt a bit rushed in the same way that it's like, here's a bad guy, and next mission he's already dead and gone and forgotten. And that happened a couple times in the story, which kind of sucked. And I was hoping that they would have developed more on the storylines and the characters and all that. But I still loved every single bit of the campaign. So let's show you guys a bit of how the game plays. I'm not gonna show you the campaign, I'm just gonna show you the tutorial, because I don't want to spoil any of the actual story. You want to enjoy it yourself. So let's jump into the campaign here, campaign tutorial, and start. As this teaches you how to control the command carrier, all your units, and shows pretty much good, pretty well most of the mechanics of the game. Although doesn't spoil you the units or the story or anything, so this is great way to take a look at that. The game also features skirmishes where you can play against AIs or friends, and also the multiplayer. So there's that part as well. I haven't really tried neither of those myself, other than the skirmish for a bit. And well, it's a skirmish against AI on a map, so it's not that different.
In this tutorial, you'll learn the basics of how to play.
So that's our carrier there. Complete all tutorial
Objectives are displayed on the left.
Okay.
These are your gameplay goals. Select a unit by left-clicking or dragging a selection box around the unit.
Carrier here.
Left-click and hold to drag a selection box around several units.
Let's get
Move
quickly through a couple of these.
by clicking the right mouse button on a position.
That point.
These are basic tutorials, so I can show you a bit more advanced stuff.
Cleared for move.
Hold Shift when issuing commands to queue them.
Location marked.
Helps if you read properly. And I'll go the first. Wrong one first.
Next, you'll learn how to control the game camera. Scroll the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Hold the right mouse button and move the mouse to rotate and
I really like the totally free movement of the
Try
camera.
this now.
It's really fun zooming in to
Backspace to reset the camera to its default orientation.
in a massive battle, just to
Panning
zoom in
the camera
and
is
see the
just as
enemies
easy.
fight there with your guys. It's so cool. The aesthetics of the game, I really like the whole
Press the arrow keys
how the
on
desert
your keyboard.
looks. It's clear
Hold
skies
down
on this
the
mission,
middle
but there's
mouse
often
button
missions
and
where
move the mouse.
there's
Pan the
like
camera to the command
wind
carrier
blowing
now.
and sandstorms and really cool stuff, and it's really well done.
Information about selected units is displayed in the bottom left. Command buttons like attack and move are displayed in the bottom right.
Strike confirmed.
This is a command carrier. It produces units for combat and resourcing. The command carrier is your mobile headquarters, durable but lightly armed.
Carrier copies.
You can press the home or tilde key to select your carrier at any time. Move the carrier to the marked position. Press the
Focus
F
on-
key to focus the game camera on selected units. The camera will follow focused units while still allowing you to zoom and rotate. Pan the camera in any direction to break focus.
Sand. We're getting
Press the space bar to open the sensors manager.
reboots. Nothing's changed. Break.
I really like how the carrier looks and the unit aesthetics in general as well. They were all really well done. And most importantly, they feel Homeworld. All these blue lights glowing from the hangars and all that from inside the ships.
Copy.
It's really nice and very Homeworldy. And this immediately is like, okay, it's Homeworld game. Oop, when you
You can
get in
select
here,
and move units within the sensors manager.
and especially
Red
also when
icons represent enemy units.
these black bars zoom in and you hear the sound.
White
of
icons represent your units. Your selected units are green. Orange and blue triangles represent resources. Blue domes represent the sensor range or vision of your units. Enemy units within contact range are marked with a red circle. As your units get closer, they'll be in sensor range of the enemy. At this point, you will see each enemy unit clearly.
This is a really handy map mode. I played
Group 1 assigned.
most of the campaign pretty much on the sensor mode because it's
When
so easy to
issuing
see
an
all
attack
enemies
move command, you'll see a red
and what's
line
happening
drawn
around with
between the
that,
selected
and
unit
controlling
and
units
the mouse cursor.
was super easy through
When
there.
this line appears broken, the selected unit cannot fire on its target. This indicates that high terrain or an obstacle is blocking the unit's line of fire.
This is also a really good part
Therefore, have to
of
move
the game,
units around the
that
obstacle
the
or onto
terrain
high
actually is
ground
not just
in order to
elevation,
achieve a clear
but it
line
actually
of
works as a
fire.
line of sight blocker, and you can
Select
shoot
your light
further
attack
when you're
vehicles
higher up.
and use them to destroy the enemy units.
In some missions it really helps a lot.
Right-click an enemy unit to attack, or press A and left-click to attack move. To command your units to attack a group of enemies, hold the control key and drag a box around the target enemy
So you
units.
see there's a sand dune in the way, so they cannot see there. It's really cool.
Strike craft taking effective fire. Hostile strike craft down. Alert, light attack vehicle destroyed. Destination.
Select the command carrier now.
Go for carrier.
The command carrier has a unique power shunting system used to manage combat and production capability. Add all available power to the turret network system.
Carrier copy.
So your carrier has this armor repairs turret and basically range for the turret here, which you can alter with the power you have down here. There's also a temperature gauge, so if you have too much in here, your ship starts to overheat and take damage. And these are really handy in different situations, like later on in the campaign you can get enough power to really power up some range and turrets, and the carrier actually becomes fairly formidable unit on its own that can be used to clear out some enemies, and you don't have to send units to guard your carrier that much.
Weapon systems online.
Hostile
This can be
on
seen here.
sensors. Authentication pending.
Enemy forces are attacking the carrier. Destroy them.
These are very light vehicles though.
Alert! Carrier is taking fire.
With the right power distribution, the command carrier can hold its own in combat.
As can be seen, it is actually pretty powerful.
Selecting a unit and pressing the Move or Attack Move command button displays the terrain overlay. While the terrain overlay is active, some terrain is color shaded to display its relative height. The three colors of the terrain overlay represent high ground, low ground, and neutral ground. When a unit takes position on the high ground, it deals extra damage when attacking units on lower terrain. The enemy have deployed armored units. You'll have to find another way to defeat this enemy force. Railguns are most effective when firing from long range. However, they can be easily overwhelmed by short-range strike craft, like light attack vehicles.
So this pretty much teaches you how to use different units on different types of enemies. Like there's enemy railguns there.
Reading.
Control Group 1 designated.
Assign a control group by holding the control key and pressing a number key.
So down here you have a
Select the
control
units in a
groups
control
which are just
group by pressing
assigned
the
here.
corresponding number key.
And let's get these guys and these guys.
Use the boost ability on your light attack vehicles to intercept the enemy.
Let's
Target set.
kill their
Select the
light
attack
vehicles first.
vehicles and left-click the boost ability button. Then issue a move command.
Attack vehicle is under fire.
So we have a bit heavier tanks now.
As vehicle crews score kills in combat, they'll earn veterancy. Veterancy improves combat ability. To see veterancy, select a vehicle and mouse over the ability button in the lower right corner of the command panel.
Here's the
Veteran units also
boost.
have a veterancy badge, visible on their health bar in the main game viewpoint. Repair and preserve veteran units. When your forces are outnumbered, veteran troops can turn the tide of battle.
These are the enemy railguns here.
Receiving. Hammer it. Get us over there. Enemy railgun firing
And
on
because these are so fast, the railguns cannot really track properly.
Enemy
And they get
railgun
killed
eliminated.
by these light vehicles. So there's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors kind of gameplay in here. Where certain units are really effective against certain other units. And playing properly with these makes life so much easier.
Prep for displacement.
Usually it means anything small is good against anything big.
Confirmed. Location marked. Strike craft.
Fleet
ready.
Group 1
Working
assigned.
up.
And let's send you guys
Moving. Eyes open out there.
in there and railguns
Roger.
up there.
Displacing now.
These are my railguns here. And they have really long range. And they are usually good placed on a sand dune like this, where they can just outrange the enemies.
We're clear to proceed. Armor online. Copy. Displacing now.
Problem with the light vehicles are that they just don't have any health. They die really quickly.
Enemy
Most
armor
missions
on approach.
I
Enemy
just
contacts on the board.
had to
Reading. On our way.
redo all my light vehicles every time because they get wrecked.
Put fire on their armor. Roger.
Another really cool feature about the units is that most of them, if not all, actually do fire when
Enemy
they
armor
move.
disabled.
So you can do this kind of bob and weave, kite around tactics in missions if you have a longer range.
Go for carrier. All systems green. We're clear to proceed.
The enemy has deployed a mixed attack force. No single unit type will excel at destroying this target. However, aircraft can attack this force with impunity. Select the command carrier to launch aircraft.
So down here you get
Launch aircraft by selecting the carrier and clicking the
some
launch
aircraft for
ability
you.
button.
Hostile.
Strike fighter.
After
you can send
left-clicking
here.
the button, left-click a target location to launch your aircraft.
And the aircrafts are really powerful.
While deployed,
I use
aircraft
these
can be selected
a
and
lot
issue
in the
commands
campaign.
Just like other vehicles. Once their ammunition is depleted, aircraft will automatically return to the command carrier to reload and repair.
The captain. Hostile range craft.
Superb
destroyed.
units. You get different planes later on.
Reading.
Bombers and what was the? Wait a minute, that's the third plane as well.
Make ready.
So we have some more
Strike fighter approach
strike
vector
fighters
dialed
there.
in.
Attack vector.
Excellent work. You have completed the tutorial. You're ready to explore the vast deserts of Kharak.
No, I've done that. Now it's your guys' turn to do that. While he was explaining about the veterancy, also, it's important to remember that between missions, your units actually stay as they are. So, if you lose all your units and your resources, then you're pretty much in a huge trouble in the next mission, because they carry over. But there is also an option, if you are in that situation, to just get the default layout for that mission. But I really like that feature in the original Homeworlds and in this game, that it carries over between missions. And it's really cool, especially because your units are different from the most of the units that are fighting against you. So you cannot get their same units yourself. And that's where the capture ability comes in. So like in older Homeworlds, you could capture enemy ships. In this one you can also capture enemy units, but in a bit more maybe limited fashion. And I didn't use it enough in the campaign myself, but it's really powerful to capture enemies, especially heavy units that are a bit different than your own, but they can be a massive help. And those units also carry over between missions, which is really cool. And also, sometimes when some units do carry over in a mission and you lose them, and then you don't have that unit, it's really crippling. Like for example, when you do get bomber planes, there are several missions in between until you can actually build those bomber planes yourself. And if you lose them somewhere in between, you're gonna be out of them, and you don't have the bomber ability for a while. And it can make a big difference in playing the game, especially on higher difficulties. But anyways, that's pretty much about my quick look on the Homeworld of Deserts of Kharak. I really enjoyed it. The gameplay was really good, the units were really cool, the campaign was awesome. I really liked the story because well, it's Homeworld, and I liked the previous games as well. And this is just a prequel story for that. But as I said, it's a bit short in the campaign, and I was hoping it was at least double the length that it was now. And they really could have delved more into the lore about the different factions, the Kharak itself, and all that stuff. And it felt a bit rushed, both in story and in the game mechanics, because they were giving you a lot of stuff all the time, and you had to really quickly adjust, suddenly having 3 different new units and all their new mechanics and quick keys and different abilities they can do, which are really useful, but takes a while to get used to. So yeah, I hope that it would have been a much longer game than it was. And it's kinda hard to recommend unless you're a really lover of Homeworld series, at least at full price, because it is not that long. And if you don't play, especially if you don't play multiplayer, well, like me, I'm definitely very much a single player gamer, and I like RTS games in a single player, which is why I hope the campaign would have been longer. That being said, the campaign, like I said, it was really nice, and I really liked the story. Also, it was really hectic. Like, there was no downtime on most missions. It was just okay, here's enemies, here's some resources, get that, there's the upgrades, throw that, okay, there's a next objective coming up. So it really kept you on your toes all the time. It's not like in some RTS games where you're, okay, let's spend first 15 minutes setting up the base and building all these buildings and getting resources, building up my army, and then something happens and I need to go explore the map. No, there's stuff happening all the time, and it doesn't give you really time to breathe. You get the resources or you don't get the resources. Although in some missions there's definitely times when you can spend the time to harvest some extra resources before you complete the next objective that progresses the story and the mission. And it's really advisable, because you do need those resources There was a couple of missions where I was like, okay, I have nothing to throw at these enemies, and I had to play this really safe until I get some more resources, which was really cool. But yeah, awesome game, bit short, definitely worth looking into if you're interested in Homeworld and really good RTS games. I hope they do something more with this game in a single player fashion. I'm also really looking forward to seeing some high level multiplayer games of this game, and I hope the community really rallies around the multiplayer of this game, like it has been really dedicated on the Homeworld 1 and 2 multiplayer. But anyways, thank you for watching this quick look, and take a look at my other quick looks as well on the Steam group and on my YouTube channel as well. And I do live streams of games like this, other RTS and strategy games, builder games and management games on twitch.tv/Belanar daily, if you like that kind of sort of thing. And anyways, I'll see you guys next time.